Hi guys, wee Bob here, and so I decided to come out and do a vlog in the car. I thought it was going to be quieter. The actual road behind me is really noisy, and I wasn't quite expecting that. But it's quite a nice night. I had to drop my daughter off at her club, and I've got an hour until I need to pick her up. Yeah, it's about an hour, so this can... Oh, we've got Captain Seagull here, shouting on top of the bin. He's just looking at me now. It's kind of creepy. Hello, Captain Seagull. So this should actually be my 100th video. Now I've shot some stuff down at the docks there where the boats are all moored, just because it's somewhere I like to go, and I thought I'm going to drive along and find somewhere nice because the rain's kind of coming in. I'm going to actually bring down my window, but it's going to make the noise of the cars come up. No, not getting it. Turn the engine on, that would help. Turn the window wipers off. But yeah, you can see the rain coming in now. I've got two, Mr. Buddy 2. But I thought it would make it more interesting if I came out and done a wee bit in the car rather than just sitting playing games or whatever. And plus you could see the stuff at the docks. So I've got a few things wrote down. I've only got about 10 minutes that I can ramble for, and I will talk over the top of the other boat stuff, or I'll mix it in. I don't know, I always say I'm going to do this or that and then it doesn't happen. So Swifto had uploaded a video, Ramble, yesterday I think it was, or the day before, and I listened to it. It was an hour and a half long, but it was... I read a few comments on it. Swifto's channel, I'll leave a link. I believe he has one of my channels on, if you have my channels, on my page. But I like I can't even speak. I like listening to Swifto. He's got I don't know what kind of mic setup he's got, but he's very crisp and you can hear his voice really well. Nice Audi driver. Is he going to park right next to me? So I've got a guy who races in, and then his music's up that loud. I've got to listen to it while I'm trying to kind of talk. It's brilliant. Mr. Grumpy Pants here. Anyway, as I said, I've only got like 10 minutes before I'll probably have to shut this off. So life in general is okay. The usual dramas hanging around in the background. See, that's the thing. Swifto can come on here and he just talks, and I get all tongue-tied, and it's weird. I don't know what to talk about, even though I've wrote things down. So at work, talk about one thing at a time. We'll go through the list. It's probably easiest. Work is work. I don't know what's really going to happen with my job. Be a bit of uncertainty there, and we're all kind of in the same boat. So we'll wait and see what the future brings. Kind of September time, my contract is up, and we'll take it from there. The job itself is good. There's a lot of design work to get done, a lot of work needing done, and interesting work, which obviously is helpful if you're in a job. And I've been in and out of work, not in and out of work, that's not really true. When I was leaving school, I didn't like school. I left school when I was 15. As soon as the last exam was finished, it was literally just before my 16th birthday, but it was when I was 15, 4th year at school. I just wasn't interested, and I had done my exams. And I tried. I remember my friend, he got a job in a local factory, and he decided not to sit his exams, and I said to him at the time, I says, why not just sit them and see what happens, see what you come out with. You might come out with something, you might come out with nothing, at least you can say you've tried. And he chose not to. He was happy working away, and he still is to this day, working away happily on various sites. I'm just going to wipe the window wipers. He has quite happy working away in the factory that he works in. I believe it's a factory he works in. And for me, I just like him. I didn't like school. I wanted out of school, and I ended up doing Swifto was talking about it and brought back a lot of memories going and having to fill out all the forms at the job centre. And so I managed to get a job as they called it skill seekers at the time, and you were getting £40 a week. And this was me basically in a place where you were to learn how to use computers. So you were to sit down, and the computers they had were digital, green screen, old computers that people had donated to this learning centre. And you were to learn how to be a receptionist and answer phones, touch type, which stood me in good stead, to be fair. And do CAD, kind of computer aided drafting of drawings and stuff, which again has helped in working life. The rain's just kind of staying on here. So I left school, went on, and I may just leave that on and turn off the fan. Turn the fan down. So yeah, between the ages of kind of 16, 17, I worked in this place called iTech, I think it was. And at the end of it, there was another section that you had to be brainy. You had to be brainy and do the maths test to go and do electronics. And I wasn't interested. I was like, I'm too dumb to go and do electronics. It's not something I can do. And I never did it. I decided after a year, and I'm not entirely sure why. I just was bored of sitting at a desk all day. And so I was either suggested or somebody suggested to me, why don't you apply for college? So I just going to turn this round to see the wee guy is sitting there. So I applied for college, and I applied for aeronautical engineering. Somebody's cigarette packet left behind. I applied for aeronautical engineering, but nobody wanted to do the course. And I don't know whether I've talked about this. I don't think I have. But I was offered the job I was offered a place on the electronics course, the NC National Certificate Electronics course. And being 17 at the time, I was like, okay, it's something to do. And I ended up just going along and doing it. And that wasn't, again, a lot of things that Swifto talks about I kind of relate to. But I wasn't the in crowd. I tried to be. I was kind of a geek. I tried to be in the in crowd, but it never happened. I ended up getting bullied most of secondary school. But not as bad as some people. I just didn't like secondary school. I mean, with my upbringing in quite a religious family, my religion was held against me, and that's no persecution or anything like that, but it was just something else that people could pick on you for. And I think at school, anybody will find anything to pick on you for, whatever it may be. Oh, your eyes one, whatever, your hair's too short, you look weird, whatever it may be. But I decided to go to college. I don't know where that went there, why I went down that road, but got offered the course, went on it, and I just plodded along. Doing the college course, and I didn't do too well, to be honest, in the first year at college. I was finding my feet, but that's where I was. At school I was left the outcast, and when I went to college there was all these young kind of popular kids there, or kids doing hash or drugs. They would all sit in the kind of rec rooms, whatever you call them, smoking rooms, and they would be smoking their joints. And it just wasn't something I was familiar with or used to seeing. So I decided instead to hang about with a kind of older crowd, the guys kind of late 20s, early 30s. And I think it stood me in good stead, because they obviously were going to college for a reason. They weren't there to just waste time. They were there to go on and do what they needed to go on and do to get the qualification that they'd obviously set out to get. And I think that helped me, because it moved me into, after the NC, I moved into the HNC, HND, then I went to second year uni, third year uni, placement year, and then kind of technically fifth year uni, fourth year, fifth year uni. And came out with my degree, or my honours degree in electronic and electrical engineering, which obviously I'm really pleased with. I mean, again, it wasn't a great qualification, it was a qualification. These birds are crazy, by the way, they look pure munching the ground. I don't know whether they're going to do it again. There you go. It's almost, I don't know if they're trying to get worms because it's raining or whether they're waiting for the worms to come up. But they were grabbing big dods of grass there and just pulling them out. But I mean, I've went to uni, I've obviously ended up with quite a good job doing what I do, and I'm happy. I'm happy in where life has taken me. I've kind of managed to achieve a lot of the things I had always intended to achieve, which obviously is a blessing. Don't know, you can hear the rain coming on. Just going to let it go and then I'll wipe the windows a wee bit. Don't know, can I wipe the windows? Oh, there we go. So it says I've got 8 minutes of 14 left. I'm probably going to have to continue this at home, which is going to be more difficult because in the house I had to be quiet, like the Zap cover. I had to be quiet doing that. But anyway, I've kind of lost the track. Work I was talking about in early life, where life kind of took me. I really need to get more space for my camera because coming out and not being able to get that's going to annoy me. I need to get more space for my camera, more cars coming in and parking. But this is technically, I believe this is my 100th YouTube video, which I was thinking to myself, I'm going to do something special. But if I do that, what will happen is I won't get anything done. I'll not get anything done at all. I'll just end up trying to cobble something together like I did with the No Small November Goonies and just getting nowhere with it. So I thought, rather than do that, I really enjoyed Swifto's Ramble, and I thought I'm just going to I'm going to do my own kind of ramble, answering some of Swifto's kind of stuff and just talking about life in general the way that he did. Now he is much better at it. He would be sitting here saying, I'm sitting here all alone in the car with the raindrops pattering on the windscreen. He would come up with some poetic way of making this look cool, and it is pretty cool, to be fair. There's a lovely sunset over there. But I'll cobble this together. It says I've got 4 minutes left. So work. As it says, work's pretty good. I can't really complain. But like Swifto, I have experienced it hasn't really been until I was 30, must have been 33, when I actually started gaining enough money to get by. Before that, me and my wife we chose to go down having the kind of kids route. My wife hasn't really worked because she's been looking after her kids, and she's now at college and uni herself. She's just finishing her first year at uni. But it's says there's a pretty cool sunset over there. I many years when I left uni, I couldn't get a job. It took me 6 months to find my first job, and I was sending out about 5 CVs every day, just one after the other. And at that time I had to go to the job centre and go and sign in and get an appointment, and they kind of look as though you've not even trying, and they're very, I mean, the amount of forms you've got to fill in, the size of the forms you've got to fill in. And we were having, like, when I was 23, we had our first baby, and I wasn't prepared. Sorry about the noises, but yeah, we had to kind of just cobble by and live with what we could afford, which was whatever we could get our hands on, and a lot of stuff we had was second hand, and a lot of stuff was as cheap as chips, whatever we could buy. Frozen food for dinners, there was none of this fresh food. And I then moved to England, where I got a job as a programmer, and that never quite worked out. Maybe a story for another day. So the computer programming job didn't work out, and I had to return to Scotland. And I had to spend a long time on job seekers allowance, trying to find a job, and eventually they were going to put me on voluntary training, or the involuntary volunteer work like Swifto was talking about. And it just so happened that I got offered an interview at that point with an electronics company, and the guy was desperate to find somebody who was paying really bad wages. It wasn't much better than being on job seekers allowance, but I just took it for the experience. Just took it to get some experience under my belt. So I don't know that I'll be able to continue this on. I'm going to stop this here. I might be able to put it just on voice recorder, and then I can do it that way. But it means you're not going to get any lovely footage of the rain hitting the window, or the birds flapping their wings in the air as the wind rushes by. Sorry. Right, cheers to the now, guys. Okay, so I don't know how much room this has got in it. There's somebody just away. The wee birdies are still flopping about. The guy next to me, to be fair to him, has turned off his music, which has been nice. I'm still rambling on in here. Cars are still rumbling by on the main bypass behind me. It's not bypass, it's just the main road between Seamill and the Drawson. And I'm looking out at the islands, and the sun's breaking through the clouds. The rain's still hitting the window. I need to do that. So I have had my share of experience of being stuck in the job centre, and I fully sympathise with Swifto. Obviously I'm not quite in the same position he is. My life's moved on to different things, and I no longer have to go to the job seekers or the job centre to get my appointment on a weekly basis. I mean, the last time I was in the job centre it's going to be about 2000 and probably 2004, I think. So that's 15 years ago. The last time I had the experience going in there. But I've been in different places. I mean, even once I got a job, as I says, the job I got was really low paid. The guy was decent. The guy, I'm still in contact with the guy to today. He still contacts me. We tried to revamp the product that he had been developing, and kind of had to leave it because of other competition in the marketplace. But the job was working electronics. It was designing offshore kit, and I was getting paid really bad wages. It was less than £1,000 a month, which, when you've got a wife and a baby, in fact we had 2 babies by that point, and my wife was pregnant with a third, you could argue we were silly for getting pregnant, and I know people have got their own viewpoints on that, but we were kids, and it was our beliefs, I suppose, to a certain extent, that we should have babies, and that's an argument for another day. But we had to go and get crisis loans. I remember when we came back from England, we managed to go on the housing list, and they gave us a house about a month in, because we were kind of squashed in a house sharing with parents, which wasn't ideal, but it was what it was. And we then got our own house, which we had no furniture for, we had nothing for, we had no money. We went in, the floors were bare, and we did what we could do, and parents maybe gave us a few wee bits and bobs here and there, maybe helped us buy a carpet. But we had to go get a crisis loan to buy a cooker and a fridge and a washing machine, and you've got to pay that back out of your job seekers allowance, so you're even less money than what you were. You're living in probably £70 a week or something like that, enough to get you food, and maybe £10 for the electricity meter. So it was what it was. I look back at those times, and when we got our house, we were over the moon about it. We were walking into the house, which was a 3-bedroom house, terraced, not the best area, but it is what it is. We had a wee garden, a wee tiny kind of postage stamp garden, but we had each other. We had beds to sleep in with a roof over our heads, and it was a tough financial time. And I was lucky that after a year of working for the electronics company, I managed to get another job, a bigger job, getting paid more along the lines of like a starting graduate salary for an electrical engineer, so a decent salary. Enough, probably, I think it was at least double what I was bringing in at the time, which was whatever it was. But it was over £1,000. It was less than 2,000. It was somewhere in the middle from memory. But it was obviously a lot of money to us who had been living on very little up to that point. So obviously I'm just giving you a kind of life story here, a wee ramble, but it might be of interest to you, and if it's not, hey, such is life. If you've listened this far, I appreciate it. So life wasn't easy for us. We had 3 kids by then, but we were happy. And it's strange how happiness works, because I can't say that I'm more happy now than I was then. Now financially I'm in a much better position now. Like I says, I never really had any kind of disposable income. I managed to cobble enough money back in 2003. I think I went into debt to get my computer, and then been in debt pretty much all the way up till I was about 33, probably 35. So not that long ago. I'm actually 40 this year, so if anybody's wondering, that's what age I will be in about 4 weeks or whenever it is. So it's interesting when you look back and where I am now. Yes, I have more disposable income to my name. Am I any happier? I'm marginally, I think. One of the comments to Swifto was from Highlander, and he was saying that he didn't really enjoy Swifto's Ramble because it was quite negative, and it was negative, but for me it was poetic negative. I mentioned about the poetry in his Ramble, and what I was meaning by that, because he was asking me what do I mean by poetry. I'm sure he knows, but he was describing being the little old. He was talking about his grand's house, and he was talking about how there was an old chair that sat in the corner, and the way he put it across, the way he described the scene, the way he described the salt air, the hum of the ship as he was heading back home to the island. I'm not quite sure what island it was, to see where his gran used to live and where he used to live. He just described it in a lovely manner, and Highlander was just saying that life is what you kind of make it, and I would agree with many of Highlander's points, but I don't know that you can ever be, regardless of money helps, having a bit of money. I've got disposable income to me, which helps. It means I can pay my mortgage, I can pay my electricity bill, I can clothe my kids, I can feed my family, and I've got enough money to have a Netflix subscription, and enough money to maybe get away, like we're hopefully going to Alton Towers at some point this year. Enough money to do nice things, and it's nice to have that disposable income at this point in my life. But relationships have suffered over years. You end up in different places, you've got a different mindset, and I think you've really got to learn to be happy where you are. You've got to learn to be happy with what you have, because when you get more, or Swifto's case, he's talking about perhaps a person to share life experiences with, a girl. I recognise that loneliness. I've lived that loneliness, and I'm lucky to have my wife now, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But having a wife brings its own problems. Having a wife and having a partner, having a friend, it brings a complexness to your life that you never had when you didn't have it. So you look at the world through what next, and what can I do, and where should I be, and he was talking about being proud, somebody being proud of him, his gran being proud of him, and something that I've had to learn recently is just to be happy in the moment, and it's no easy. It's an easy thing to blab out. It's not an easy thing to put into practice. It's not an easy thing to just say, oh, I'm happy, or I'm living in the now. But the theory is there. The theory, I listened to Eckhart Tolle, The Power of the Now. It's kind of, it doesn't follow my religion. I'm a Christian. It's more kind of Eastern religion. Just checking my phone, still recording here. But I like the philosophy of it. I like the thought of, and I think a lot of my beliefs are compatible with what Eckhart Tolle's kind of like what he's putting out there, which is the power of the now. It's the power of not worrying about the past or learning from the past and using the past as a tool. Excuse me, windy pops, as Dave Lawnboy's post, and here was me complaining about Swifto farting. But aye, life is what you make it. I've probably went full off in tangents from the whole point of what I was talking about, because I've got other things here on my list to talk about, and I might just leave this not here, but we talking about this, and I'll leave other items on my list for later. But aye, it's nice sitting here in the car. The rain's hitting the window, the grass is blowing in the wind, and I would like to bring some of that, see some of that poetry that Swifto brought to his videos. It's lovely. And I can write it. I know I can write it because I have written books, not big books, but I have written small books. Like Swifto, I'm got a creative side to me that I can't contain it. I need to get creativity out of my body, and I don't mean in a negative way. I mean in a very, I'm glad it's there, not unhappy that it's there, but I don't like sitting still. I don't like, my wife can watch TV and she can watch series after series. I like watching TV and I like watching movies, but I also like getting my brain on paper, which is part of the lure for doing artwork and stuff. But aye, life hasn't been all that, and I don't think that life for anybody is. You're going to have a kind of roller coaster life no matter where you are, and I'm sure the likes of J.K. Rowling or Bill Gates, they all have good days, bad days. It's quite weird because we're watching this SAS program with the celebrities in it, and it's clear that every one of them has a mental hurdle or mental hurdles that they are having to try and conquer. They're trying to get past, trying to deal with, and regardless of how much money they have, it doesn't solve all of life's issues. Regardless of whether you've got a partner or not, it doesn't solve your life. It doesn't make everything rosy. It helps. Now, the weird thing is, and this is where, when I was listening to Swifto's Ramble, he was talking about loneliness and sharing life experiences. He wants somebody to share it with because he's a hopeless romantic, and I'm not going to give away his whole ramble. You don't. If you want to go and listen to it, I would go and listen to it because it's interesting. I like Swifto. I like his take on life. But when we came back from Australia, I came back from Australia myself with 3 of my kids, and I had to go and live in a 1-bedroom flat for a number of weeks. So we were all sleeping in the same room. We were sharing a kitchen, sharing a bathroom. We had a small little TV room, which was good. But I'm sitting there watching TV in this wee room. My wife's in Australia, I'm here. And I just missed her. It was just, you just realise that somebody you've spent a long time with, me and my wife are nearly 20 years married. When you've spent that amount of time with somebody in your life, when they're not there, you feel it. You feel it. It's weird because you take them for granted every day. And again, touching on a Swifto point, when somebody's here, of all the things that you don't like about them and all the things that you don't want to deal with them, when they're not here, you regret that they're not here, and you wish you could capture some moments again. And obviously my wife still here, and it was lovely when she came back, and we were able to we sit and we put our feet up on the couch, we put some microwave popcorn on, or sit with a drink, and we watch Doctor Who, or we watch SAS, or we watch movies, Ozark, whatever it may be, Netflix in general. It's nice to have a partner, and I wish all the best to Swifto to find somebody to share life with, to experience things with, and somebody, whether it be a friend or whether it be a girlfriend or whatever, somebody to just experience those things with, but also to realise that I would like, myself included in this, for most people that listen to me to understand the life as just not going to be easy until you accept yourself for who you are, and you accept that all the things that you desire, it's nice and it's good, and I think it's great to set goals and set desires, but it won't make you happy. In fact, I started a ramble which I haven't uploaded, and I'm probably going to have to go and find it, but I started a ramble on how you create things that then cause you problems. You create something thinking it's a good thing, and you then realise, no, that wasn't what I was intended, and it's brought along a lot of baggage with it. And it's the same for everyone. If you win the lottery, you're going to end up bringing a lot of baggage with you. You're going to end up with people trying to steal money for you. You're going to end up having to worry about where your money is, and it's... Oh, the wee seagulls are shouting. Surprised they shout. I wonder if the worms have got ears. I wonder if the worms can hear them and go, oh boys, we thought it was rain, it is rain, but there's big seagulls up there, we're not going up because that will get munched. We'll get our heads munched off. So, working life, just to give you a kind of round up, I'm going to finish there. I'm going to have to go to Asda just to get some money to pay for sponsorship walks and stuff. I've got a wee sponsorship walk that we did. I'll maybe just chuck that in here as well. I capture footage all the time, or I capture wee mini vlogs. I capture my voice talking about crap, and I don't tend to upload them because I forget about them, and then I go back and find them and I'm like, oops, I forgot about that. So the sun's setting, the Arran ferry is out there, the Calmac ferry's out in the distance, shadowed in the horizon. The clouds have moved in and it is proper raining. The guy in his funky car still sitting next to me, and the seagulls are still chomping around looking for the worms to come up and feed their bellies. So I hope you've listened this long. I don't know what I'm going to put this to, because ultimately I started with the scenery. I've got some footage of me walking by the boats, and so life is good at the moment. Some bumpy roads in there, but ultimately life is going well. Next art project hasn't started yet, and that's kind of where I am. Neil, Nifty Retro Gamer, had asked me a question about Spectrum and how the Spectrum came into my life. Do I talk about that just now, or do I leave that? I think I'm going to leave that and put that into another video that I can then hopefully have a wee bit of a backlog, my Spectrum days or something. We'll see. So Swifto, cheers for the ramble. It's gave me a brilliant listen. I'm sorry that life sucks, but I'm glad you've commented back. Life seems to be slightly better, and I get life can be, it's not always easy, but all the best, and all the best to everybody out there. Cheers for listening to me ramble around. The wind's getting up. I'm going to have to go and cross this 60 mile an hour road, and I hate doing that. My Scottish voice is breaking in here. So cheers guys, and wee Bob is going.